What's up, guys? This is Dookie Boy, and today's video is going to be about familiar spirits. I hope y'all having a good day. Y'all keep up and stay blessed. Let's go. Now, the first thing I wanted to point out is familiar spirits, they can come in a few forms. One form is through people. They can come through like visions and dreams, and they can come through like spirits, But I'll go off and start off with the ones that come through like people and things of that nature. So familiar spirits, if you don't know what they are, basically they're spirits that been around you in the spirit realm, and they pretty much watch things happen to you in your life, or they're probably spirits that could have, not probably, but they are also spirits that could have probably used your vessel in the past to do things, because some things, like certain spirits, they'll use people's like bodies and like sort of like demon possession. And some spirits, they'll use your body just to do things with that they can't do on the other side. Certain things, as far as living life. But certain, why I'm saying this is because, certain familiar spirits, they like to use people's bodies. And for an example, if you're trying to do, good for God, and especially when it comes to something like turning away from a certain sin, what a familiar spirit will do is they'll take control of somebody's body that somebody that you could be close with or cool with, and they'll use their body to try to remind you of whatever that sin may be. So it could be like something like, for an example, like you could have stopped drinking or stopped smoking weed or something, but a familiar spirit that could have used your body before to do something like that could go enter into somebody that you used to smoke with, or somebody that you used to vibe around with when it came to doing something like that, and they'll get that person to remind you of who you were and to try to get you to go back to doing whatever it was. And so that's one form. Or it could be like, it's multiple reasons, like for different kinds of sins, but that's just an example that I want to put out there. And then you got familiar spirits that come to you through dreams. Some familiar spirits like to come to you through dreams by, making you dream of something. Like, for an example, like lust, like something very lustful or anything of that nature. They'll try to come to you as like a succubus or incubus. You see what I'm saying? They'll come to you through a dream to try to get you to go back to what the sin was that you're turning away from. And the devil, he mainly attacks the ones that tries to turn away from sin. He doesn't go after the ones that don't care about it. The ones that try to stop doing it, those are the ones who he'll try to attack and remind them of their old sinful habits and stuff like that. Things that God wants us all to turn away from, that he wants, me to turn away from, and things of that nature. And then the other form that I was talking about is basically exactly what I was saying, like they'll come to you in the spirit form, like some familiar spirits come to you, in the spirit. So basically, like what I was saying, I don't remember which video that I mentioned this in, but Richard Lorenzo also said something about this, and what he's saying is completely right. So what certain psychics and mediums do, the reason how they could tell you something that happened to you, even though they weren't around you at all to even see it happen, or something that you did, or just something that you went through that nobody else seen you go through, is because certain people are able of reaching out to the other side in the spirit realm. So what those psychics and those mediums do is they'll reach out to a familiar spirit that was around you that seen something happen to you. So what they do is they have their spiritual ears open to the point where that they could ask whatever that spirit knows about you. and tell you what happened. So then you'll be like, okay, well, how the heck does he or she knows what happened to me or that I did that and they weren't even around me? You know, psychics and stuff and mediums. That's how they do it, guys. They get the answers from spirits in the spirit realm or like familiar spirits that been around you or use your vessel before to know that you did something like that. They ask them, and then that's how they receive the answers to tell you. And that makes you believe in them more and want to follow them more and think that is right. But it's wrong, it's deceiving the whole entire time. So that's why it also says in the Bible to stay away from psychics and mediums and stuff, because they are deceiving you. That's what they're doing. The only people we should reach on to and depend on is Yeshua and Yahweh. And that's it. We should never depend on another human for anything. You see how corrupted we are? You know, even if it's somebody that you trust, you know, if God doesn't approve of it, then don't follow it. That's basically the message behind this. You see what I'm saying? But familiar spirits, yeah, guys, they're pretty much spirits that either used to use your vessel before to do things, or, you know, spirits, demons, all kind of pretty much things that exist not in the third dimensional realm. They could be things that exist in like the 4D or like the 5 spirits, basically. That's what I'm saying. They're spirits that exist in the spirit realm. They don't exist in the physical realm, but they're part of the physical realm. You just can't physically see them. And certain spirits you actually could see, you know, if your spiritual eyes are open and things of that nature. But yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I wanted to talk about familiar spirits and exactly what they are and what they do and why you should be careful around. Well, if you depend on God and Yeshua and you ask them to, you know, lead you away from things of that nature, those spirits and demons can't have authority over you. It's all about what you allow and what, you know, God allows and what Yeshua allows. But if you don't give them power, if you don't give those demons and those spirits power, then you have nothing to worry about. You know, God will always provide a way for you to, you know, be saved and to turn away from it and to not have them rule over you. You just got to accept it and allow it. And that's what he wants us to do, you know. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. I wanted to talk about familiar spirits and what they do in the spirit realm. That's just some certain things that they do and what they're capable of. So, but yeah, you know. But yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about and tell you guys, you know, about today. But I hope y'all are having a good day. Y'all take care of yourselves and know that Yeshua and Yahweh does love you guys. You know, we just got to repent. And that's all we got to do. But anyway, guys, I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys.